Sumo Bots.
Hi everyone, Robot Man here. Today we're going to make a sumo wrestling battle bot. That's right, we're going to build a robot that travels around on the inside of the arena, and the light sensor on the robot will keep it inside the arena. But when it sees another robot, or when another robot sees it, there's going to be a battle, and we're going to see who can knock the other robot out of the arena. Here are some more rules and tips. Whenever you build a robot that moves, it's highly likely you're going to need this set movement motors block. You need to tell the hub which ports the motors are plugged in that actually move the robot. So today we're going to plug our movement motors into ports C and D. So you need to make sure that you've selected C and D there. And then after you've done that, you select the speed. Now it is tempting to put big numbers in here, and it even can let you put bigger numbers in than 100, but I strongly recommend that you don't, because sometimes if you do big numbers it can confuse the robot and it doesn't go straight, and all sorts of things happen, like the iPad or the device might freeze. So let's just leave it at 80 today. This is how fast it's going to spin. Our robot needs to spin at the start, so we're going to make it spin at a speed of 80%, which is quite fast. To make it spin, we're going to grab a block that says move right 30 for 10 rotations. It could say move left, but this is how sharp the turn is, and we want it to turn as sharp as it can. In other words, we want it to spin. So it can go left or right, doesn't really matter, but it needs to go for 100% of a turn. And then we are going to change this. We don't want it to spin 10, we don't want the wheels to spin 10 times. I worked out if you make it go 1.2 rotations, that'll pretty much give you a 360. And these 3 blocks at the start here, you probably don't need to change later on. You can leave them like that and your robot will spin at the start at a good speed. Next we're going to go to our control tab and we're going to grab a forever block because we want something to loop now. Our goal is actually to make it go to the white line and then reverse and then turn and then just keep doing that over and over again. So when we're going towards the white line, we might go a little bit slower because we don't want to go too fast towards the white line or it might just drive straight off the board. So I think to start with, we'll leave that at 50%. And then you want it to start moving straight ahead. And then if it sees the white line, we want it to go backwards. So we need to use an if statement. And an if block up here, we just use the one that doesn't have else. We can just put that in there like that. And if it sees the white line, it will go backwards and turn. And after it does that, it'll go back up to the top here. So let's choose the sensors tab and we're going to get the one that looks like a hexagon because we want to put something in here if the white line is seen. So you've got to use the light sensor ones and we're not going to use color today. Well, yes we can. We can use color. You could use reflective light if you're really interested in that, but color is probably easier. If our circle has a white line around it, we can do that. If it's not white paint or white tape, then you might want to try reflected light, this one here. And I've got other videos to show you how to use that if you're interested. So, we're going to plug this into port B, so change it to a B. We're going to plug the sensor into port B. And then we're going to set the movement speed. We're going to go backwards a little bit faster than we did forwards because you can go backwards fast. It's safe to go backwards fast because you're heading back towards the middle of the circle. I'm going to make it go, I'm going to say start moving, but it needs to start moving the opposite way to this arrow here. So we're going to make it go down, which in a lot of the time means backwards. Up often means forwards, down often means backwards. And then we're going to grab a turning one. We want it to turn similar to this one up here, but we're not going to spin this time. We're just going to turn a little bit. We're just going to turn a little bit. So we'll still spin on the spot. So I'll just zoom out a bit. We'll just make it 100 again. Okay. And we went right this way. We might go left up here just to make it different. It doesn't really matter if it's left or right because it's still going to spin. And I reckon we're going to go for 2 rotations. We'll make the wheels spin around twice when we turn after we've been to the white line. That'll give it a fairly random kind of location when it's finished turning, and hopefully we'll cover most of the board. So in summary, we've told it where the motors are plugged in, we've set our speed, we've made it spin, and then it goes forward at a speed of 50 until if it sees the white line, and it'll change the speed and go backwards and then spin. And then it'll go back up here and go forwards the wheel at a speed of 50 towards the white line, go backwards and turn. Forwards to the white line, backwards and turn. Forwards to, and it keeps doing that over and over again. So that'll get your car or your vehicle to move randomly around the circle. And if you wanted to react to another robot, then you need to attach a light distance sensor. So we're going to go events and we're going to choose the block that says when A is closer than 8%. Now I like to use centimeters. For me that makes more sense. And we can leave it in port A because we haven't used port A yet. And we're going to say we could just make it spin. Okay, when another robot gets really close to you, you could make a motor that you've plugged into, for example, E. It'll have to be a different port, won't it? You could make it spin 99 times. Okay, so you could have some sort of propeller or some sort of hammer or something that spins around, or even a wheel that spins around when it sees the other robot. But if you want to be a little bit trickier, some people want to make a weapon that goes back and forth a little bit, like swings back and forth. So instead of a whole rotation or 99 rotations, you could just make it go for a quarter of a rotation. 0.25 is a quarter, isn't it? So you could say, I'm going to go in one direction a quarter, and if I hold that down, you can go duplicate. Okay, on an iPad or tablet, you can hold your finger down on the block, and it will duplicate. You can have an option to duplicate it. On a other laptop or some other device like a computer, you can right click on it and go duplicate. Okay, we're going to make it go the other way. So now it's going to go one way a quarter of a turn, then the other way a quarter of a turn. And if we make it loop, it'll do that forever. Or, since it's just going to happen when we see another robot, why don't we just make it repeat like 3 times? So when it sees the other robot or gets within 8 centimeters of the other robot, a motor's going to go back and forth a quarter of a turn 3 times. That's a pretty cool little weapon. Okay, so you can change this whatever you like. You could even make it play a sound if you wanted to. You want to put a sound in there. You can go something like, whoever sees the other robot, it could make a sound. We don't want it to sound like a cat, so we can add a sound. And you can choose a sound like a monster. And you can choose this sound. And you can edit the sound if you want to, but if you close that now, then you can choose the monster here. So every time it sees the other robot, it's going to make it sound like a monster, and it's going to move the motor, a separate motor, back and forth. So the main thing when you're constructing it is you got to plug things into the same ports as what you've represented here. So make sure that your movement motors get plugged into C and D, and that your sensor for the light gets plugged into port B, the one that senses the line, and that needs to face down when you build it, doesn't it? And your other sensor, your ultrasonic sensor or distance sensor, needs to be plugged into port A, and your spare motor that's used for a weapon needs to be plugged into E. But if you're not sure, just look at your code and it tells you which letters. Now that we've finished coding, you might want to leave this on the screen, press pause on this video so the students can see the coding and the rules. Now it's time for me to explain to the teacher how to set this thing up. You could use sumo wrestling boards if you've made any. If you haven't seen these before, I made them, and I made a video here. You can see at the top of the screen there's a video you can click on to go and make those if you want. If you haven't got time for that though, you could possibly just use a little trestle table. A little trestle table works, or even a big trestle table works, because you can code the robot to move backwards when it sees more light. So if a light sensor goes over the edge of the table, it should see more light. Also, you could put black tape around the edge of the table if you wanted to. If you haven't got trestle tables and you don't have sumo rings, then you can also just use masking tape on the floor. So I just ripped up 6 lots of 50 centimeter pieces of masking tape and one longer one, which was about 96 centimeters long. And then I put one down on the ground, and then I put another one parallel to that one, about 86 centimeters from the first one. So I used a tape measure, measured about 86 centimeters, chucked another 50 centimeter piece of masking tape down. The idea is we're trying to make a hexagon because it's a bit more exciting than a square, and it's a bit easier than a circle. I don't think you can make a circle with the masking tape very easily. So you put the 96 centimeter one across the middle, and then that sort of gives you points where you can connect the other 50 centimeter ones to make a hexagon. So you just touch the edges of the temporary one across the middle and the original pieces, and once you put all 6 50 centimeter pieces on the ground, you should have a pretty good hexagon. I mean, you might need to touch it up a bit with tape, or if there's any gaps, just fill in the gaps with some extra tape. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be a closed shape so that the robots can't escape. So any gaps you can put little bits of tape in, but I just worked out that it calculates pretty accurately, pretty even angles. If you've got 6 50 centimeter sides, and you put a piece across the middle that you remove later. So that's the hexagon on the ground, and that'll work with your light sensor. At the bottom of the description there's also opportunity for you to click on some links and work out how you want to score. If you want to score, there's also some student reflection evaluation sheets, and there's also a little Google sheet there where you can enter student scores. You can actually evaluate them during the activity if you really want to. You don't have to do any of those things, but there's some handy links in the description. Make sure you check them out and check out my other videos. If you're not that confident with sensors, check out these 2 videos. And if you haven't already, it'd be good if you subscribed. Thank you.